We are going to see Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom on Thursday. The movie's projections are not looking good. It's going to make about $40 million at the domestic box office opening weekend, opening under The Marvels, which opened at $46 million. It looks to pull in about $75 to $80 million overseas. It's not looking good for the movie. And another reason that's true is because what started going around on Twitter after early screenings started going up is people are saying that as much work as they did pulling Amber Heard from any of the trailer, making sure that she wasn't visible in almost any of the promotional material, she's heavily featured in this movie.
Yeah, Warner Brothers and DC are now getting accused of deceptive marketing for cutting her out of the trailers, when in reality, a lot of these early reviews are claiming she has just as much screen time as she had in the first Aquaman. The Quartering tweeted about this. He said, "I regret to inform you that Amber Heard is actually in the new Aquaman movie a lot. Reports of her basically being cut out turned out not to be true. I wasn't going to see it anyway, just a piece of news from people who have seen it." George Alexopoulos said, "Sounds like DC shat the bed again," much like Amber Heard. And this review says, "While Heard only had a few lines as Mara, I couldn't help but notice how the audience reacted whenever she appeared on screen, which I can safely say triggered a feeling of uneasiness that might have been because of all of the Johnny Depp, Amber Heard drama in the previous year." And she says the on-screen chemistry for Jason Momoa and Amber Heard from the first Aquaman movie visibly waned. That can be attributed to Jason Momoa showing up drunk on set, dressed up as Johnny Depp.
Well, that could happen to anybody.
Yeah,
he just dresses bohemian. That's what they said. He just dresses bohemian.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have happened to any bohemian guy in his 40s. Okay.
The thing that's funny about this is that they said that the chemistry waned. There was no chemistry in the first movie.
I didn't see it, so
they don't have any chemistry together. They have zero chemistry together.
But if they had even a shred of it in the first movie, all of that was thrown out once the defamation trial happened, and Jason Momoa is buddies with Johnny Depp or sympathetic to Johnny Depp, so that must have been uncomfortable on set. That must have caused some tension between them.
And this isn't just from the Quartering. Like last night, Amber Heard is a liar was trending on Twitter, and I'm like, let us go and explore this. And what it was a bunch of people with Palestinian flags in their profile talking about how she's in this movie and like bragging about it.
Yeah, I also saw a hashtag called Only for Mara trending. So it's Amber Heard supporters that don't give a rip about superhero movies or DC or Marvel at all.
They're just going
to see Aquaman 2 because of the chance that Amber Heard might be in it. And they say they're going to be watching hashtag Only for Mara.
Yeah, and they say like they don't want to see Jason Momoa at all. They're like the idea of watching Jason Momoa makes me sick. And I had an idea. So Marion told me a while ago about this app that you can get, that like this Christian app that cuts out sex scenes from like Netflix and stuff. Maybe they need to like tweak the algorithm so the Only for Mara people can just cut out all the Jason Momoa scenes, and then they'll be in and out of the movie in like half the time, right?
Not even. They'll watch like 3 minutes of Amber Heard's screen time, and that'll be that. Someone who is supporting Amber Heard said, "Whoever said Amber Heard's screen time was cut from the movie was lying, because she's in the movie about the same time as Orm, who plays Aquaman's brother."
Yeah.
That would be kind of crazy, because this is supposed to be a bromance film where they're like almost co-leads.
In the trailer is the mom and the brother way more than like, look, and let's face it, if I have to choose between Nicole Kidman and Amber Heard, I'm going to take Nicole Kidman all day, every day. But yeah, like, and
why is that?
She's just a better actress. I'm not going to go into this movie and if Amber Heard does a good job in this movie, I don't care. Like, I have literally no, like I've said a million times lately, like, covering this stuff every day has just left me emotionally dead inside. And, like, I could watch a new Kevin Spacey movie, and if the movie's good, whatever, fine. I don't care. If the movie was good, the movie was good. I'm not going to go out of my way to watch her movies. Like, we're going to go see this because Aquaman is a superhero movie. It's big in the culture. But if this was that, what was it, the one where she's like a doctor in the middle of the Salem witch trials, I'm not going to go out of my way to see that. that just because she's in it. But the idea of going to see a movie just because this this embattled culture war figures in it, like, I'm not gonna do that either. I wouldn't do that for somebody like if a new Johnny Depp movie comes out, I'm gonna go see it because it's good, because it looks good, or because we're gonna review it, not because I care so much whether it's Johnny Depp.
Right. They're saying that Amber Heard was scrubbed from the marketing for Aquaman 2 to appease incels and comic fanboys, even though she is still a lead.
It's also funny too, because the first thing this made me think of, it's weird that we talked about Armie Hammer like just a segment ago.
Yeah.
When Death on the Nile was coming out, like in 2021 or 2022, it was like right when all of these allegations came out. And spoiler alert, if you're gonna go watch Death on the Nile, skip ahead for 10 seconds or pause the audio. Well, in that movie, he's the bad guy, and he's very much in the movie a lot. But in the trailers, he's in like less than one scene, and his name got dropped to like the 3rd page of credits. So you had no idea that he was as prevalent as in this movie as it was, because they had to work around where the marketing was going, because his name was red hot, or like was off limits at that time. But the movie was already shot. There was nothing they could do about it.
Yeah, and same thing for this. But the difference is not even people who care about DC movies or superhero movies or any of these characters want to see this movie. It's gonna flop regardless.
And like in the chat right now,
I just don't like that. Here's what's gonna happen: if people who don't like Amber Heard see Aquaman 2 flop, they're gonna say it's because Amber Heard is in it too much. If it does well, they're gonna say it's because she was cut out of it.
Yeah.
And people who like Amber Heard, if it flops, they're gonna say you didn't put Amber Heard in it enough. And if it does well, they're going to say, oh, it's because you increased Amber Heard's screen time.
Yeah.
Like,
both sides win either way.
Has she done anything career-wise to like have gained such a cult following, or is it just from the Johnny Depp stuff?
I literally only know her in the context of Johnny Depp.
Yeah, same.
But
I can't think of really any other movies that she was even in.
She was in an obscure episode of Criminal Minds where she plays an actress that's being stalked by someone.
What was her biggest role?
So
it would have been this movie. It would have been the Justice League, and it would have been Aquaman in her appearance in Batman vs Superman. Or she might have been cut out of the theatrical but then also in the Justice League and stuff like that. She has like a cameo in Justice League, but it was mainly her in Aquaman. And there really wasn't any chemistry there between the two of them. And as an actress, like, there's 1,000 actresses like her that are just as talented with way less baggage, right?
True.
Like, she maybe one day, if she had not had all of this stuff happen, she could have found herself at the level of, like, not even a Margot Robbie. I don't think she would have ever reached the level of a Margot Robbie, but she could have been who's an actress right now that's on the rise, or at least doing fairly well.
Jennifer Lawrence?
No, because even she's more like.
What about the Ziegler?
Both of them have their own troubles.
Madeline Klein?
Yeah, maybe Madeline Klein, right?
But they weren't going to recast Mara.
No.
That would have drawn so much more attention.
Well, there was a lot of people who thought they were going to cast Emilia Clarke. They were going to recast her as Emilia Clarke, and all the fan art started coming out about that. And I would like to... I don't want to have to go to a movie and see a bad movie. Like, I'd rather the movie be good, but I'm also not, like, I'm not so entrenched in the culture war that I'm going to skip the movie just because a lady I don't like is in it, or somebody in the movie did something bad. If you were going to skip every movie that had somebody bad doing something bad in it, you would never see a movie.
Or what if you just don't keep up with the news and you just don't know?
Well, that's what most people are.
Right. It's assumed that because the internet exists, everyone has to know and keep up with the controversy of some obscure actress and pick a certain side.
Yeah.
It's not realistic.
And even that is so, like, imagine, like, hitching your wagon to some millionaire who's never going to know who you are, never going to care who you are.
Yeah, that's why it really resonated with me when I saw this person say, in hindsight, why did people go so damn hard for Johnny Depp? Like, people were making it their entire personality.
Because it wasn't about him.
That they believed him and hated Amber Heard for it, as if they were getting something out of it. It was the most unnecessary few months. There was no reason for people to act like that behind that old-ass man, making edits and false claims for what? We talked about the trial because it's newsworthy, but I never understood having this personal allegiance to either one of them, because we're sitting here arguing about two Hollywood stars having like drug and alcohol fueled fights in their luxury homes.
Well,
like,
that could happen to anybody.
it doesn't have any aspect that relates to our lives, but people made it into a proxy war
For men and
Me
women.
Too. It turned into this whole reckoning for the Me Too movement as well, and a proxy war between men and women. It felt very Battle of the Sexes and wasn't even about Johnny Depp or Amber Heard anymore, even though I do think that Amber Heard was in the wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't even really matter anymore. I don't think people, the average moviegoer, pays attention to this type of stuff. Yeah. They're just thinking, I saw the first Aquaman. I'm not really planning on seeing this next one because I heard they were just going to recast everyone anyway.
It's also it's also crazy too because now we're seeing both of these movies. Aquaman made $1 billion, Captain Marvel made $1 billion, and now both of them are struggling to make $40 million in the opening weekend. It's just it shows you how far these properties have fallen. I listed the 17 movies that I liked this year, and I don't think any of them were any of the superhero movies that we like. Like, I didn't hate The Flash, but I wouldn't say that I liked it. It was a thing.
I hated it just for existing.
Yeah, but like none of the movies that I listed, at least not that I remember, were superhero movies. They were just other things that we watched this year.
I saw people saying like, how dare DC keep Amber Heard and Ezra Miller employed while Marvel fired Jonathan Majors? Yep. And they're just not comparable situations in any way.
Yeah. Well, was Amber Heard ever accused of domestic violence?
Yes, she absolutely. You mean like by law or like
she was
accused?
Not.
Well, was she found guilty?
There's a very real recording of her saying, "I didn't punch you, I hit you. It's not the same thing." Which
she was loosely, accused of domestic violence, but she wasn't in a criminal trial for that. It was a civil trial for defamation, and a lot of people didn't realize that. And neither Ezra Miller nor Amber Heard were ever convicted for all of their allegations. Jonathan Majors was.
And Depp, and I guess in a way, Depp's case was a turning point for Me Too, where like now not every allegation is just going to be believed outright anymore. And certainly we're in that point now, right? Where like I hear anything. We did that story yesterday about Christian Keys, and I'm like, look, unless you're going to give me names and tell me what happened specifically, and tell me if you didn't go to cops, I need to know why. Otherwise, if it's going to be public, I don't have anything to say about it other than the fact that what do you want me to do? Right. Without any other information. Are you looking for I feel bad for you? I can say that. I can say if this happened to you, I feel bad for you, but I'm not going to make larger assumptions about society, men or women, based on vague assumptions or vague accusations about vague people that are not named.
Well, you should make assumptions about Hollywood based on what they're saying, which is that they're all degenerates. Yeah. And some of the things that Christian Keys was talking about weren't really crimes. It was just people being creeps and degenerates, and he didn't want to be part of that.
What if the opening scene is like Mara on a bed and everyone's just waiting for her to crap in bed?
Yeah, they need to keep her far away from the beds.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.